I've filled up about 5 notebooks in the past month of my life, and I haven't read a lot of this yet. So, oh yeah. So I'm going to read an old piece, and then I'm going to read 2 pieces that I've been writing. I write all in capital letters, kind of like I did when I was 10, so sometimes I stumble, so just please be kind. All right, so this one is called Wield Love Like a Saber. Oh, sorry. Good? Cool. So this one is called Wield Love Like a Saber. I've said before that you have to keep building a life that is poised to keep re-healing the perpetual wound within you, the stigmata of having been embodied on this earth in a family, of surviving the loss that comes with living. You keep the kit stocked for triage, and you pry from the floor the nails whose old heads cut your feet. So much of my life I suffered. Why now would I not turn myself towards healing and love? Why wouldn't I dispel the distortions whose untruths I've forgotten and re-remembered so many times? It's about practice, about practical things you do, things that work on you, work in you, things that affect change on your body, within your body. You go out there and you let the world wash over you, remind you of your place in the world of the living. It's the self-hatred that keeps that demon pinned to your heart. It's the self-hatred. It's the first untruth we let through the door, and with it, that insidious let-in creature enters us. And so you wield love like a saber, like a scythe, and you cut down those stalks that have grown so tall to box you in so that you can orient yourself, see the mountains and the sky. Remember that you are in a field in a low valley, and that immobility is a spell of can't and shouldn't that must be broken with that bold risk that feels like certain death, breaking the spell of nothing matters by doing it anyway. Yeah. Okay, cool. Is this close? Actually, maybe I should just pull it down. I've never done that before. Oh, there we go. We're different heights. Very nice. Okay, cool. Oh, that's so much better. Okay. You know, this is like one of those things I've realized about like overhead lighting is you'll walk in a room and be really uncomfortable, and then you'll be like, wait a minute. This is not me. This is the settings. This is the microphone. All right. So this one, I was listening to an interview with Joni Mitchell recently. And I was thinking about Joni Mitchell and the 60s and the disillusionment at the end of the 60s and how it kind of feels like we felt when COVID, there was this little aperture where things felt like things finally stopped, and it felt like change was fucking possible. And nobody talks about it, and it's not in the popular culture. It's the only thing of that magnitude that could happen all over the world and that somehow wouldn't come back in popular culture. It's not in art, there's not essays about it, but we all fucking remember that feeling. And we remember what it was like when everything not only went back to fucking normal, but it got worse. And the disillusionment and fucking disappointment of that shit we have never dealt with. And it's coming out as mental illness, it's coming out as instability, it's coming out as all the other things because we never fucking alchemized that shit. And we have to, with each and every one of us as artists, start dredging that shit up and dealing with that, because that little aperture of how things could be and the disappointment of that is something that we have never fucking resolved. But anyway, I digress. So I was thinking about Joni Mitchell when I wrote this and how that actually felt when the 60s ended, so. I think of the art that's been created from the void of that wound, from its aching and absence. Joni Mitchell's missing daughter, Patti Smith's painful pregnancy and relinquished child, left alone in pain on the metal table, in complicated labor after the nurses ridiculed her hair and called her a vampire, till the doctor finally came and diagnosed the breach. I can't remember if she had a C-section or not, but remember her writing about the gentleness of Mapplethorpe, her great love at that time, that photographer who came to be known for such harshness, how he touched and regarded that scar or the stretched skin left from her pregnancy, and Joni, whose great interior mosaic of feeling she expressed through her singular sounds she made with her guitar, piano, her voice, her strange tuning closer to the sounds she heard in her head, she felt within, and so many colors of that mosaic, hues of longing, that great album Blue, the great disillusionment as the 60s came to an end, that sunny bastion of Lindenhurst where so many artists converged, shattered by the hammer of the Manson murders, Though Manson himself, and it's simply not talked about, was a product of a horrendously broken home, was brutalized for most of his childhood in penal institutions and workhouses, whipped raw and doused in salt water, raped, I'm sure, repeatedly, and before his infamousy was bestowed by the orchestration of a murder, he yearned to be known as an artist, to be a musician enfolded in the golden embrace of other artists, part of the circle of which Joni, no doubt, was a radiant, feeling heart. What is born from absence and a wound? And what forces shape the gifts and nightmares born from suffering? I think, too, of Maya Angelou, a bird of her sweet child self, caged by the rape she suffered and the weight of the murder of her perpetrator when she told, then retreating into silence, seeing what words could do, the sheer force of the truth. But she was also loved fiercely by the force of a woman who was her mother, and maybe that is the difference, the thing that tips the scale from self-destruction to creation, to self-salvation. Her mother, who she said was a piss-poor mother to young children, but a brilliant steward to young adults, who kicked down the door to take back to take back her then young adult baby, who'd been taken captive by a man who had been her lover, who grew threatened and angry and possessive of that brilliant light, that radiance within Maya Angelou, and reckoned he'd kill her so he could keep it. But the door got kicked down by love, and Maya, she who became Miss Maya Angelou, was saved to give the world the great gifts within her soul, within her heart, caged in a body that had known brutality, betrayal, violence. But that bird within that radiant heart sang, and so saved many of us, myself included, kicked down the door to the rooms within ourselves where we are tortured by parts of ourselves grown contorted and bittered with pain, busts in and saves us both, victim and perpetrator, whose duality we all encompass in some way. And so maybe the difference is being loved fiercely. Maybe that's the redemptive force. Who is to say Manson didn't have some truth in his soul that got smothered and contorted by trauma? This isn't to excuse, idolize, or admire violence, or to assume I can know what went on inside a man whose feral-eyed face became a symbol for the end of an era that toted peace and love as a slogan, but to say, we are all of us human, all of us born, all of us guaranteed to die, all once infants in need of love, of unconditional, irrevocable care, that we are all woundable, permeable as much to love and the planting of seeds and care and nourishment as we are to the planting of bombs and the ground mines that litter one's internal landscape in love's absence. And then, if we all encompass the possibility of the perpetrator, because we all encompass the woundability to be victim, then we also encompass the potentiality of self-salvation, of a love within ourselves, of lungs and a voice capable to sing, to uncage ourselves and embolden others to do the same. Cool. Thanks. Thank you. So yeah, thank you so much. I'm also an artist, and primarily I've done like large-scale cutouts and installation and masks and headdresses for a long time, but I'm starting to move primarily into my writing. So you can find me on Instagram. I'm MOR Stencil Art. Thank you for your time. I know I went a little bit over. Appreciate it, guys.